within 1 or 2 to 3 weeks maybe of them mooning, like literally going to 12 ETH, like that level of just like unreal. So it was fucking nuts. Yeah, I remember because they reached out and I was like, oh, it was like my first big podcast. I was like, holy shit, what do I do? I was like, what do I say? I had like questions prepared for him. And I didn't have like my studio. I think I was living at my parents' house still, and so my dad was like using the office, and I was like, "Fuck, man! Like I like need to have an office." And I just like pulled up in like a fucking couch, and I had my laptop like on my lap, and I was like, "Oh God, of course, this is the one interview where I don't have the studio, and it's literally the founder of Dippies or of Doodles." But
I'm gonna go down the archives because it's gonna be like a historical, I think, a historical moment in that.
Yeah, man, I fucking hope so. But anyways, we'll get started here. I see some people in the chat right now. I want to make sure we're live. We are. Everything's good over here. Sweet. All right, guys, welcome to the Joyage Kingdom. I'm Cage, your guide. We'll be replacing a little voice inside your head for now, giving you a break from the constant internal monologue that is the human mind. I want to say first, thank you for listening or viewing on whatever platform you're on. If you haven't already, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, join the kingdom. Today's episode, we have Uncle Sal, founder of Dippies, on for the podcast. Thank you for coming on, dude.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm super excited to be here.
Hell yeah, man. Well, listen, one of the things that I'm super excited to share with people watching is my Dippy. Where's my screen here? All right, so this amazing Dippy is my Dippy, my honorary Dippy. So I just want to say shout out to you guys. Thank you for honorary Dippy number 13. Let me put on my glasses real quick so y'all can see why this is so fucking accurate.
Shouts out to Taylor Might.
Yeah, shout out Taylor. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. I fucking love that one. And I have one of the absolute rarest vans in my possession as well. I have a top 1% with a guy in the driving seat that actually looks a lot like me, and he's a one of one, and I just couldn't believe it was there. So I've got one of the best vans in the game. So shout out Dippies fam. Yeah, dude. All right. Here we go. Bring it back. All right, fam. So anyways, yeah, we're just going to chat about you, talk about life, talk about Dippies and stuff like that. I know you guys, I remember when I did the review on your projects, I was excited because there's a lot of projects out there that kind of fluff it around. They don't put too much effort into stuff. And I noticed right off the rip, and honestly, I did a little bit of research last night to prepare for this interview as well. You guys have put in some fucking work behind these, like behind the scenes of like putting these videos together. They're like ultra high quality videos. And I worked in video production before doing YouTube stuff, or while I was doing YouTube stuff. And so I kind of saw some of the work you guys put in. It was exceptional shit, dude. Like what is it? Why do you guys focus on the video and like bringing people into the story when nobody else does? Like it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, we knew the storytelling was a huge part of the NFT space, and like text-based information is really not digested correctly, and not the most exciting way to digest information. So we felt like when we've seen other projects and we've seen the videos they've done, and usually the best responses have been from the videos. Like usually videos get people excited and people understand them more, and they're more excited to look at the videos than a Medium article, right? So we were like, okay, let's focus on that. And we all come from like, content background, but me personally, I come from a content creation background. Like I used to do TikTok.
Let's go.
Fun as a hobby. When I was like towards my last year of university, I was doing that a lot because it was COVID. I was at home, nothing to do. So I learned a lot about capturing people's attention in less than 15 seconds or less than 30 seconds. It's really, really important. And if you master that skill, you've mastered a huge part of marketing. So that's something that I wanted to bring into Dippies, and we did in our videos.
Hell yeah, dude. What is your specific role? Like when you wake up in the morning, you're like, all right, I got a podcast with the greatest podcaster on earth later today, but I got other things to do today. What does that look like for you?
It's just I would say like operations and decision making. So like I'm the founder, and Taylor's is the artist and also co-founder. But Taylor focuses more on the artistic side of things. I focus more on like the project, the collection, the management of the community, and the vision. So a lot of the times when people reach out to Dippies and they have an opportunity, I'm the person that they want to talk to because I'm the decision maker in the project. But the community is also very involved. We've done roadmap 1, roadmap 2. We finished 2 roadmaps, and this next roadmap 3, we kind of want to get the community more involved. we said from day one that eventually we want the community to be more involved in the decision making, and that's what the next process is, because we have things that we're excited about, but we want to make sure that the community is excited about the things that we're excited about, right? So
Hell
that's
yeah,
usually what
dude.
my day is. Wake up, interview with Cade, and then meetings and keeping in touch with community managers, moderators, and thinking big picture.
Yeah, dude. So you dropped this project. I remember when I did the review, I think at that point you guys had launched. I think it was right after you launched. It was a pretty good success. I know you guys had Snoop do a song, which was like, bro, how the fuck? How is that a thing? I saw a podcast where this guy, I don't know if it was true, but someone asked, I think it was the Nelk interview, and they're like, how much does it cost to get you to do anything? And he was like, about 250K. And I was like, oh my fucking God. So I'm not gonna get into the numbers. I don't care about that. But like, how does a conversation with Snoop happen? Does he reach out? Is it a video? Did you tag him? I know you sent him an honorary Dippy, but like a lot of people send Snoop Dogg NFTs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's how the conversation started, was with the honorary, where Taylor Mike created an honorary for Snoop, and it was, I know he gets honoraries all the time, but it was a really unique honorary of him, and it had things that had the Death Row Records chain and everything, so it kind of really was a thoughtful honorary, and I think he really appreciated the art behind it.
Did you guys just tag him on Twitter? Like, how did he see it though? Like, that was my question. The guy's got like millions of followers, you know?
I believe we tagged him on Twitter, and then he saw it. I think his son saw it, Chet
Oh,
Medici,
okay, okay.
Cordell, and
Oh yeah.
then Cordell got he heard about Dippies, because at that point we already reached pretty much like a very wide audience in the NFT market. Like, everybody knew who Dippies was at that point.
Yeah.
And Champ kind of, I think he's sort of like really in charge of the crypto side of things with his dad and stuff like that. So he told us that about Dippies. Apparently, like, Snoop was really related with the hippie part of digital hippies, and
Yeah.
he's also really into digital now because he's into crypto. So it kind of really related to him. So they got on the studio. I think it didn't take much. Like, they've been doing this for years. So they kind of, I think they did the song, and like we didn't know. It was kind of like a surprise, and they kind
Wow.
of released it, but they were doing it also for them as well, because it was like they were turning into the music scene in NFTs, and they were experimenting. I think they used Dippies as an experiment. They used the
Gotcha.
honorary, the IP rights to the honorary, to make it the album cover. They made a song, and they sold the copies um,
Wow.
on their Death Row Records label, in collection on OpenSea. So I think it was sort of like a win-win, because they were experimenting. Dippies had the hype. They had the music and the hype as well. So it kind of
Yeah.
came together. It was sort of a easy collaboration, win-win for everybody, and a great experimental process. And we got to get an anthem for us. Like, our anthem is a Snoop Dogg song. It's called Dippy's Trip. I personally bought like
Fucking
100
nuts.
copies myself, because I was so excited at the time. I was like, "Yo, sweet that shit."
Bro, that's like actually that's like a serious life accomplishment right there. To be like, yeah, there's like fucking a few hundred people on Earth ever who have had that kind of opportunity, something like that with a guy like Snoop. That's just so fucking legendary. Damn. So how much of the digital hippie life do you guys live out? Like, why was that the main focus of the project? Because it's a great thing to niche down a little bit and to focus on a specific part of an aspect of life. And you guys picked the digital hippies, which I vibe with. So I'm fucking stoked about that. And do you guys live the digital hippie life? Is that you guys, or is that like taken from inspiration from somewhere else?
So for me personally, I wouldn't say I'm traditionally a digital hippie, up until recently. Like, I wasn't
Mm,
when I was 16, 17. I was actually not living that lifestyle. But I think as I got older, I got really into like tech. I got really interested into it, and I started really getting into like spirituality, fashion, and a little bit of music. So I kind of used Dippies as a way, as I wasn't really a Dippy right before I made Dippies. I kind of was becoming a Dippy as I made Dippies, if that makes any sense. I was like going along
legend.
that route. So
Yeah.
I saw myself like dressing differently, thinking differently. I was never really a spiritual person up until like several months before Dippies was a thing. So I think it was sort of like a journey for me. It was sort of a personal journey of like, of creating this, meeting people who are actually what I was going to become eventually, but before I was, if that makes any sense. So it kind of
Dude,
came
that's fucking
together.
awesome.
And it was just a good journey, like a personal journey alongside a business journey. So it was kind of cool.
Legend. And did you know Taylor before? Were you guys friends before? How'd you guys come together and do this?
So Taylor, we met. I saw that he posted. He did a really cool. Um, he has he's on Foundation, as all artists are, and he made like a one-of-one inspiration, like of a doodles thing, like a
Mhm.
doodles animation.
Yeah.
And I saw it and I was like, wow, this art is phenomenal. And he had like, I then looked at his other art and I was like, wow, like really cool, like very straight to the point, very vibrant, gets like captures your attention. And I was like, I talked to him. Turns out he's such a dippy. Like he's like and then we kind of were like, I was talking to him about like a project and I had this idea of like hippies NFT in my mind, and then we were like hippies, and then we were like, but I don't feel like a complete hippie. Like I don't feel like I
Yeah.
am that. But I was like, I am definitely a digital hippie. Like I definitely could resonate with that. And then he was like, so can he, because we love like the technology side doesn't leave us. You know, a
Yeah.
traditional. You know, we're not hippies. I don't identify as a hippie. I'm a dippy. Like I'm a digital hippie. And then we talked about it, and we kind of like he started sketching, and I was like vibing with him a lot, and I was like, okay, co-founder, let's do this. Let's see what we could do.
Damn, dude, that's fucking wild. I love hearing the origin stories of how projects come to be, especially when it's something kind of or just randomly organic like that. I love the way the universe fucking works like that. Like I swear, that's why I hate like dating apps because I'm like, man, I don't know, dude. I feel like
Dating
the
apps are
universe will
horrible.
just
It's tough
he'll
out
just
here.
he'll just drop my wife somewhere and it'll just happen. It'll be random. Like that's how all my relationships have happened. And that's how, honestly, that's how like most life things have happened. They just like randomly just like what how like when you think about how it happened and you tell the origin story, you're like, wow, that was kind of weird how that one thing led to another and things happen. Did you when you guys dropped the project, were you guys super nervous? Or were you guys pretty confident? Like what were your thoughts going into like midday and stuff like that?
I won't lie to you. Like when I was first starting this project, I was very nervous. Never done this before, so I didn't know how it goes down.
Yeah.
Um, and I was starting the Discord, all these things that I don't know how to do. But one thing I do know how to do is just I really do my research. So I spent hours and hours and hours in other communities and seeing like what holders don't like, what holders do like, and
Yeah.
what I don't like, what I do like. I was collecting and I was like, okay, this as a collector, I don't like when the party does this, so I won't want to do that.
Hell yeah.
So I kind of did that, did my whole like focus group study, and started just going with it day by day. I was very nervous, but as I got closer to launch, I got less nervous because we kind of just started like really getting popular.
Mhm.
People really started getting to know who we are, and um, less nervous as the time went by. Nervous in the beginning and gradually less nervous as the time went by. But the thing about it is that we got so big that I was like, oh damn, the blockchain is and smart contracts and shit like that. I was like on midday, I was like, God, please, like we worked so hard. We worked so hard for this. We have everything laid out for the first roadmap, and we have things ready to do. Just let
Yeah.
this, because if this doesn't do well, it's gonna really screw us over. In terms of like a tech point of view, like I was afraid like
Yep.
something's gonna happen, but it didn't. It went
Because that can kill the
smoothly.
momentum.
I could kill momentum, but it went smoothly. We sold out in like I think like 7 hours through the white, like it was a whitelist sellout. I think we sold out in like 6-7 hours.
Wow.
And yeah, and when we got number one on OpenSea for like 48 hours, I saw our name above like the Bored Ape and like all these other big huge projects. Obviously, the 24-hour one, not
Yeah, yeah.
like the 7 day or like the 30-day one. But I was like, wow,
Dude, that's
insane! That
fucking crazy.
yeah.
God damn, dude, that is fucking crazy. Yeah, wait, I love that. I love that story. I love hearing about that because when shit like that happens and you roll the dice in yourself, that's what my whole brand is about. Like the Joyage Kingdom, Joyage, like the whole thing is about rolling the dice in yourself and then seeing where the cards stack up at the end and like trusting yourself and then taking that chance. And like not more, I wouldn't say more often than not, but like I feel like you can surprise yourself in this life. Like random stuff will happen for you. I mean, not always, but sometimes you'll win. Like you'll literally fucking win. You'll swing and you'll hit a home run. And like that is so fucking cool to hear. Damn, that's so legendary, bro. That's so legendary. What man, okay, so all right, so what has been like one of your coolest moments with Dippies? Was Snoop Dogg up there like number one by far, or there been something else?
I think Snoop Dogg is definitely up there. Like that happening was definitely huge. Because like Snoop was like up there. You know,
Yeah,
it's a huge like a huge accomplishment. I listen to him a lot. And you know, and I think Snoop, Eminem, Dr. Dre, I think like these are like the big dogs, right? So when that happened, I was like super happy.
yeah.
Um, Another really cool moment for me, I think, was our first IRL event, Dippy's Picnic, because
Mhm.
what was all like virtual felt real, and having like seeing like actual holders and saying hi, how are you, like meeting
Yeah.
them, like shaking their hand, seeing them eat food, seeing them interact, seeing them network, like that, just and seeing like local art, local music, all that felt amazing. So I think Snoop first IRL event, second IRL event was really cool in LA with the I Like You're Weird, was like a disco themed party. It was really cool. There was like free cannabis. It was a kind of like a really
Oh,
dippy hippie vibe. Yeah, yeah, I think that's probably the highlights, those three. And then the Dippies vans as well was a huge accomplishment because believe it or not, that's I think as hard as launching the Dippies, that the vans was like the
dude, it was
tech behind.
animated. How the fuck you guys dropped? Those were beautiful.
Yeah, Taylor really progressed as an artist. Like you could really see that he really leveled
Yeah,
up and took the comments from Dippies and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna level up even more." And
yeah,
he went at it, animated, and
dude, they're
funny
beautiful.
enough,
I'm just gonna show up on screen. Oh, hold on.
yeah,
Keep, keep going. I'm just gonna show my screen.
funny enough was that when I first found Taylor, the thing that made me the piece that he had on Foundation app, he didn't animate it. There was another artist that animated it for him because he's more
Mhm.
of a still graphic. So that animator is the animator for Vans. So that's saying like full circle. So when I
Let's
first saw
go.
him, that attracted to him of like his graphic with someone else animating it. Taylor was like, I would love to work with this guy again. I was like, okay, let's make these Vans animated, and then bang.
Damn.
Um,
Let's go, bro.
then we went from
Let's
there.
go.
And animated is so much harder. Like it's so much harder and so much longer because we promised everybody like 4 to 6 weeks we'll get it done, right? But we didn't say they were going to be animated, right? But when we decided we are going to be
Yeah,
animated, it took more time. So why we delayed the launch because we wanted them to be animated. It was still we could have launched earlier, but we delayed the launch
yeah.
so they could be animated.
Goddamn, bro. You shoot for the stars. You aim high. I think it's a common trend actually with some of the top projects that people love, especially projects that are heavy community focus. If they're like a PFP project that's kind of relying on the community, that's fucking awesome, dude. So tell me about like you just came out of college. Were you like what was the plan before Dippies happened? Were you trying to like be a lawyer? Were you trying to like work a random job? Like what were you doing? Because I was working a restaurant job, and then I was like I can't do this anymore. So that's when I jumped in my car. I literally did the fucking typical hippie thing. I like jumped in a car, lived in a car for 6 months, and fucking traveled the entire country. And then one day made a video on NFTs after I got obsessed, and then I was like, oh, this is way cooler than documenting my like I don't know. I was doing vlog style content, but I didn't like vlogging, and I was like, man,
That's super.
this is way harder, and it's a way more saturated industry. NFTs is brand new. I love this shit. Let me try this, and like that's kind of where it all spawned for me. But what was it for you?
Yeah, I mean that's a super dippy story to be honest. Like the
Yeah.
whole like going on getting in a van and just saying screw this, and then finding
Dude, it
tech
wasn't even a
in a
van. It wasn't even a van. It was a fucking my mom's Prius that she was about to sell, and I was like, wait. I was like, let me see that thing. Let me turn that into a car. I'll show you a photo. But I'll try and find the photo while you tell me.
Yeah, so for me, so I was in school for architecture,
Okay.
and that obviously gave me an immense appreciation for art because in school they taught us that art comes in all forms, and they didn't
Mhm.
just teach us about buildings, taught us about art as well, like art, fine arts as well. And I, I grew. They just really engraved a philosophy in us about finding the art in everything.
Mm.
So and I was always interested in tech, and when NFTs came, I was like, literally, this is my calling. Like, I'm really into art. I'm really into tech. Architecture really misses a bit of that tech side for me,
Yeah.
and that uh, people's person vibe, because I also love talking to people. So when NFTs started to come about, I was like, okay, this is literally my calling. So right
Yeah.
after I graduated university, it was April. So right away, I got into crypto, blockchain, NFTs. I said bye bye to architecture for now. I was just
Yeah.
like, I'm 20, was what 21, 22 at the time. Let me just kind of get into this. Started like, um, that's when the NFT craze happened, and I was like, I don't want to really get into it until I understood it. Obviously, you never understand it. So when I felt like I knew enough,
Yeah.
and when the Dippies idea came in my head, and I didn't really feel, I felt more of a creator than a holder. So then I wanted to create a Dippies, and then got really excited, and it was all from there.
Yeah, dude, that's fucking awesome. Also, I did find a photo. Here's one of my favorite photos. This is one of the very first photos. I
Oh
think it's the
man,
first 24 hours. Dude,
that's tight. That's a tight car.
it was ridiculous. I in this video right before this photo, the night before, it was my first night, and I had driven like I don't even know how long, many hours, and basically it was right when on the East Coast the Colonial Pipeline got like hacked by these people. Everyone lost gas. Like no, there was no gas on the coast for like 2 weeks. Like I don't know how that's possible, but basically no one could get gas for weeks. And I happened to leave the day before, so I'm like 18 hours into this trip. I'm in a random ass place in Tennessee. Like like bro, when I tell you Dippy Town, this place was fucking Dippy Town. Like it was just hippies everywhere, and then there was like on the other side there was like homeless people over there. Like there was nothing, there wasn't too much going on. It was just very very small town, middle of Tennessee. So there was like 7 gas stations, and then nothing. And I remember I was like, oh shit, I've got like a quarter tank, and I was like, no problem, I'll stop at a gas station. And then I realized they were all out of gas, and I said, oh god, this is not good. This is really really not good. I was like, I don't have a lot of money. I don't have a lot of anything. I don't know anyone here, and I literally was panicking. I had actually vlogged this entire trip, and especially this first 24 hours. I'm sitting there. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna run out of gas in my first 24 hours, and I'm gonna have to leave this car here and get it towed or something. I don't know where gas is nowhere to be found. What am I gonna do? And I finally just drove around. I ended up just saying, okay, I got 50 miles left in my tank. I'm just gonna go left, and I'm just gonna see if I get lucky. And I literally I think there was 8 miles left in my tank, and pulled into this random gas station, and it was literally the last one with gas. And I got there, filled up my tank, and within 30 seconds of me finishing my tank, about 200 cars rolled in. I guess they found out, and literally everyone came, and they ran out of gas in 20 minutes, like the entire place, and that was it. And I literally drove an hour. It was nighttime, and I was so tired. I was so just like exhausted mentally, and I just pulled over. I just drove up a little mountain, pulled over on the side of the road, and just hoped no one would knock on my window. Fell asleep, woke up on the side of this ravine, like the photo I just showed you. Realized I was on top of a valley, and I took like this epic drone shot. I was like, damn, this is lit. This is fucking crazy.
Damn, that's an actual, like, if we had a channel called Dippy Stories, that would be up there. Honestly, and that actually gave me an idea for my community, because there
Yeah.
must be stories like that all over my community, and
Oh yeah.
and our community, like in the Dippies community. So it'd be cool to kind of like highlight those in some sort of newsletter, and have some prizes involved and stuff like that. So yeah,
Hell yeah,
that
man.
gave
That's
me
a
some
great idea.
ideas.
Fuck yeah, yeah. It was a cool time, and that's honestly why one of the reasons I connected with the project when you guys sent me the honorary one. I was like, damn, because someone either he said it or someone said they're like, you're a digital hippie, and I was like, bro, I fucking am a digital hippie. Like, you're right, you're right. But okay, so all right, so you told me about the architecture journey, and you jumped into NFTs. What 1 month was it like around when you got into NFTs? You said, or when you found out about it?
I think I got into crypto, I would say, 2017, 2017 is when I got
Oh
into like
shit, so a
crypto.
long time. Okay.
The very beginning of like just like investing in just like the basic ones, just mainly Bitcoin. And then I didn't know about NFTs at the time. And then when NFTs started popping around 2020, I started like learning a bit more and more. And then 2021 is when I really started like getting interested. like really really interested. And then just from there I just kept like fully, I was like, that's it, like this is what I want to do. Like I want to be in Web3. I want to be
Yeah.
in NFTs specifically, not like crypto. Like I want to be in NFTs.
Yeah.
And I think we all as a community are trying to figure out where we fit in Web3. You know, what are we more on the art side? Are we more on the tech side? You know, we all don't know that, and I'm here for it. That's what I want to I want to be part of the figuring it out.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Hell yeah, dude. Do you, if you weren't doing a project, would you have been like a trader? You think, would you have is that like what you're mainly doing, just like trading and like jumping in projects in and out kind of thing? Like what were you doing right before?
I was trading specifically because I knew I wanted to be a creator. I wasn't
Gotcha.
trading. I was trading to learn like what holders feel, what holders look for, how to be a good founder. Because I knew I've always been a builder. I've always been a creator. And I was kind of doing that I had a goal in mind. So I didn't want to do it unless I knew what I was doing. So I was jumping around, seeing what was going on. And then I learned enough that I feel like eventually you got to just go for it. You know, you could learn all you want and do all the studying, but eventually you got to just do it. So I felt like I knew enough, and I went for it. And I'm super happy that I did, because people started funding.
Yeah, I agree, bro. That's how it is. You just kind of, you launch and you go right before you're ready. A lot of times, like it's not like it clicks and then you're like, okay, now let's go. Like, I mean, it's maybe sometimes, but for the most part, you roll the dice first, and then you're like, okay, yeah, let's just keep going. We'll just see how this goes. Do you have anyone in space in Web3 specifically that you look up to? Was there anyone that you like maybe model after or took inspiration from?
I think at the time I was kind of when I was, I think around September, October, August, September, October of last year is when I was like going really, really heavy on it. And the projects that were launching at the time weren't super high quality. And I really wasn't like impressed at all with what was going on. And I think a lot of people were frustrated with the quality that was coming out. But as we all know, one project called Doodles came out in October that really showed like, hey, this should be the standard, right? Mm-hmm. And in all honesty, once I saw that project, I was super impressed with how they conducted themselves, how they did a whole different like wireless strategy. They kind of like rewriting the script. So that's kind of a project that I really looked up to in the beginning. And I would like go see like how they would conduct themselves as founders, as a Dippies, as a Doodles Twitter account, like how they would interact with their community and how the community really loved them. And then that's sort of like I think a role modeling community that I looked up to.
Hell yeah, dude. That's a great project to model yourself after. Those guys over there are fucking epic. They're crushing it. I remember when I did my podcast with Jordan, I was like, I think he was one of the first people that I spoken to who had credentials just in general. And I remember thinking, oh, okay, so this is the guy running a project that's doing well. I was like, okay, so that's the caliber of person required.
It doesn't just happen like that. There must be some sort of background. It doesn't just happen, you know.
Yeah, 100%. Dude. Yeah, he's a cool guy. And I remember when I did a review on the reason he reached out to me originally when I did that podcast with Doodles a long time ago was because I did a review, and in that review I was like, yeah, everything's cool. Like I love the art, I like the way everything is. I just wish they would add more like lore or story or just like personality to these characters. Right now it's just a bunch of little weird like cartoon things, and it's cool, but it's like it's just missing something. And then he saw that video and was like, okay, let's I want to jump on the podcast, talk to you a little bit. And then the next couple weeks and months, they basically started to add a little bit of personality to the characters and stuff. And I don't know if there's a direct reason for that, but I'm the reason Doodles blew up. I have no other explanation for it. They flew to 12 years. So I'm like, listen.
I was like, yo, you low-key changed the Doodles history.
It's no problem. It's no problem. It's no problem. I got a huge bag of 200 Doodles. I'm very happy about it. No, I wish, dude. I don't even know why. I don't know why I didn't buy a Doodle after that conversation. I remember after that conversation with Jordan, I was like, man, that's awesome. I really like that. And I probably could have bought one at that point. And I remember that was the last time I pretty much made that mistake. Like anytime I had done a podcast with someone where I was like, feeling really good about it, where I was like, yeah, they were super qualified, or I like what they had to say. I would try and like support them or something like that. And I remember I did that with like Bungie. I talked to Greg Norman, who was the current CEO of Bungie at that point. And I talked to him. I was like, man, this guy like really understands his shit. Like he really gets what's going on. He's not just some random person who showed up on a Tuesday and dropped a project on a Thursday. You know, there's a lot more work that goes into it. What for you? Like, was there anything that was crazy hard that you just weren't expecting to be crazy hard that just took up way more time and mental energy maybe than you thought?
I think everything was very hard. Really, like leading up to Mint, it really was like 12, 13-hour days. Right
Yeah.
now, it's still hours, but it's more like cruising altitude and longevity. But then
Right.
it's like sort of like you need to do this to be able to get to the longevity part. So it was a lot of hours, and um, it was just like the amount of information I had to like condense and learn about like community and what community means.
Yeah.
That was a lot to me, um, because I'm not a fan of like day trading, and I had to like do that to become a founder, because I wanted to learn how community members. I want to go into these Discord groups and really see what was going on.
True.
That was hard, and another really hard thing was managing a fleet of people, of community managers, moderators, head mods, um, all these different things.
Yeah.
I've never owned, I've never been a manager or operations of so many people, right? So being put in a founder position with all the NFT space eyes on Dippies on
Yeah.
that day, um, being 21 at the time, or 22, was definitely an immense amount of pressure. For me, it was a lot of stress,
Yeah.
um, and obviously there's a lot of doubters along the way, people telling you you don't know enough, you don't know what you're doing, you need me to make this a success, and blocking out all that noise and being like, hey, I could do this on my own
Yeah.
with my community and our community managers who have been with this from day one and know what Dippies are, and who are actual Dippies. We're gonna do it the right way, organically, without all the noise and all the inorganic ways of doing things. That was really hard to say no to, because people will sell
Yeah.
you easy ways to success, but there are no easy ways. So that was it was really hard saying no to a lot of things, a lot of opportunity.
Damn, dude. I appreciate you saying that. That was actually I was not expecting that kind of answer. That's really interesting actually about that, about how people they magically appear at your aid when you need something like that. That is super interesting. Yeah, I imagine that was pretty difficult to get away from, honestly, especially because you don't even know who you can trust. Like once you guys start picking up steam, then everyone kind of comes out of the woodworks and you're like, shit, like I don't know who to I don't know who to trust. I remember when I interviewed Bento Boy, I don't know if you know him, another NFT YouTuber. We've done a podcast a few weeks ago, and I asked him about when he dropped why am I forgetting the name? It was
Another project. I just forget the name.
fuck me, what is it called? Oh, that's gonna kill me. But anyways, he dropped. I gotta find it.
I
Huh?
forgot. I forgot what it was. It was something fishy?
It was
No,
like Squishy. Oh, Squishy Squad. Squishy Squad. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So he dropped that project, and I was like, yo, so I was like, you're like 19. I was like, you're like actually, I didn't say that, but I was like, you're like actually a kid. Like 19 years old, you're an actual kid. Because I'm not that old. Like I'm 24. There's a massive gap from when I was 19 to 24. Like a lot of stuff happens in those years. So I was like, you were 19 and you dropped a project, you sold out, you made like $1 or $2 million, I'm sure. I was like, what was that like? And he was like, well, it was way harder than I would have thought to manage this many people, and he's like, just to look after a community of this many people and try and make everyone happy. He was like, it wasn't something that I don't think anyone could be prepared for. He's like, it was way more just like heavy pressure on you at the same time, all at once, And I don't think, I think a lot of people can talk shit because they're not in that position, but to actually be there with the weight of the world on you, like, yes, you're getting the money. So like, obviously there's a compensation for it, but goddamn, bro, that's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot of eyes on you. So props to you for not buckling,
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Like even at 19, kudos to him. Like it's hard for literally any age. Obviously, with age comes maturity and patience. But like when you're younger, you obviously are more prone to less life experiences. Obviously, you have less coping mechanisms, I would say. So it definitely was, not used to not like I wasn't used to 13, 14 hour days sometimes, like literally from the
Yeah.
9 a.m. I would wake up, I go to sleep at 1 a.m. But I've never that I think that's the happiest point I've ever been in my life. Like that lead up to the launch was just the most excited I've been about creating. Like whenever we make a new video on like the script for the video and how to sell and how to like sell the story and make people feel part of something. um, that was a learning process on the job. I've never made people feel part of something before,
Sure.
so it was really exciting for me. It was like being 4 years old, learning how to do something from the first time. So
Yeah.
it's a super exciting experience, and but definitely not easy. Not coming on a Tuesday and launch on a Thursday kind of ordeal. It doesn't happen that way. I
Yeah.
don't know if that any project was able to launch that way.
Nah, I think, I mean, every now and then there's a project that comes along, does some bullshit, and then just randomly
Yeah.
picks up. But for the most part, especially to maintain the legacy, to maintain the brand, takes a substantial amount of work. So you were you're 21, 22 when you dropped the project. So that's a few. I mean, like relatively for us both, like high school, college years were just right around the corner for us. Like, what were you like in maybe high school? Were you hardworking? Were you like grinding for like college? Like, what was your mentality in high school?
I mean, in high school, I mean, up until grade 11, I was really like not a great student. I would say like I wasn't interested in school. I was interested. I loved like making friends, and I was always good to people, and people were good to me. But my grades didn't reflect a high educational standard. But in the subjects that I were like creative media, like kind of subjects, I really always excelled in subjects that needed storytelling, and subjects that needed you know you to create some sort of yeah, it's literally just storytelling.
Yeah.
Those kind of like creative subjects I was always good in.
Mhm.
Creative writing also was fun for me. But I didn't like math, science, any of those. Was found very boring.
Mhm.
um, and then up in grade 11, 12, I realized I had to get my shit together, so I started getting like good grades just because I wanted to get into good a good program. And architecture was kind of the way I felt, something that I would be like something I would actually enjoy, because I didn't like taking exams, and architecture was more hand based.
Yeah.
You create, you literally, the whole idea of architecture is literally you're selling an idea to your professors on why this is the building that should be done for this plot of land.
Yeah.
That's a
100%.
lot of it. And you do it time and time again. And you keep practice makes perfect. They make you do it all the time. You're selling them this world, this vision. Like, I have this concept, and this is why this concept is a great concept. This is why I should get such a high grade. But you also don't say it like that. But you're selling a concept to them, and you have to make them literally believe in your concept and feel like they are a part of it, that you're
Yeah.
talking them in the eye. So I had to master that through, we call them crits, so critiques. So they'd come, you'd tell them their idea, and if they don't like it, they tell you that's shit. That's a horrible idea. We don't like it. Improve this, improve that. So I got really used to criticism really
Yeah.
quickly, because we had to do it
Damn.
a lot very quickly. You'd work on something for 3 months, 12 hours a day almost, because everybody else is working those hours. If you're not there, you're slacking. And it's
Sure.
a competitive program. You got to show it to them. They start believing in it. They feel like they're a part of something. It's a story. They really say it's all about the story, even
Yeah.
for buildings, let alone.
Yeah, when I was in college, I ended up, so college soccer was like the dream. Pro soccer was the dream when I was a kid. So I ended up playing college soccer. And I remember the first year I was a nursing major, because I liked the idea of, I don't know, I liked being around people who worked hard, because it just gave me a little bit more motivation. I remember in high school I kind of slacked off the last couple of years because I was around just fucking degenerates. Like we just didn't care. Like in high school it was just like, at that point, dude, especially once you got into college, you're like, well, fuck this, bro. Like I'm done. It makes no difference. And the teachers were like, yeah, it doesn't even matter. So I remember when I got to college, I did the nursing program, and I liked the practicals, even though the practicals were the hardest thing ever. I would stay up for like 2 days straight just to study for it. It was where you would open up a rat or something and have to like go in there and like actually touch it and label things. So it was actually like a little bit more mentally stimulating. But on your note about the architecture, one of my potential future wives, Joe. I met her in Hawaii, and we met at some random shack. I remember I was there with my friend Kent, who's a photographer, and we ran after this dude that we thought we saw. We thought he was this famous Instagram guy, and we literally saw him on the other side of the street. Kent was like, "Dude, that's fucking Dave or whatever," and we were like, "Oh my god, that's him!" So we ran trying to catch him to say hi. He like disappeared around this corner, and we are like, "Oh man!" And then we saw the Sunrise Shack, and we're like, "All right, let's get acai bowl." Walked in, there was these two girls sitting at the bar thing. And so we ended up buying the things. I wasn't going to talk to them. They were way out of our league, so I just didn't say anything. And we ended up sitting like sort of next to them. And then I forget if I said it or they said it. Someone asked for the time. And then we ended up just like talking, and then we ended up hanging out for the rest of the week. And then me and her ended up getting together and being together for a while. And she lives in Boston, but she was an architect. And so I remember I had a lot of those conversations where she would tell me about what's going on there. And I remember being like, God damn, like that is so much fucking work. Like literally working so much, and now she's like an architect in like Tennessee or something like that, and she's crushing it. But the amount of work, dude. And she would tell me about that, how she's in there trying to convince these fucking teachers that she's right and that they should, especially when she's trying to get a job, like this is the right way to do it, and they're saying like, nah, this isn't it, dude. And so, yeah, major respect there, dude. Major respect there.
It's lots of hours. It's in the studio. So I got used to the 12-hour days in terms of working on a project.
Yeah.
But never on like a project school wise. Never really on like a NFT project. So I knew how to get the hours in. So I knew how to work hard. That's what architecture school taught me. Like the ability to work hard and put those hours in. And I was always used to working on my own thing. Like in architecture, you work on your proposal. It's your proposal. So that's why when I came to the NFT world, it was hard for me to be, a part of something. I wanted to create a proposal myself, which was Dippies.
Yeah, I fuck with that heavy, actually. I remember when I was getting started with the YouTube game, I made this random animated version of myself. It was just like a photo of me with the glasses. And I just put it in some animated generator on Google. And I remember I had no interest, like zero interest in having a profile picture as my NFT, an NFT as my profile picture. Every now and then I'll change it. Like, I mean, obviously when you guys sent me the Dippy, that was actually me. So that was actually fucking awesome. And I also didn't know that you said earlier with Snoop that I have some kind of IP right over it, you said?
Yeah, like so you own the honoraries, you own, like, you could do whatever you want with it. You own the rights to the image, so you could create whatever you want with it. It's
Hell
yours.
Hell yeah, dude, thank you. Well, yeah, well, anyways, I was gonna say, yeah, it was hard for me to be part of anything too. And so I agree. When you want to do your own thing, I feel like I said this on a past podcast. I was like, winners always find a way to win. And people who want to do something for themselves will always figure out a way to do it themselves anyway. But this one I had a specific question on, because I know there's some people in the chat who are wondering this. I'd asked this somewhere, maybe it's my Discord, for a question to ask you. And someone asked, are there any jobs within the Dippies ecosystem right now that you guys are looking for? Or like, what would be something that people can do to either get the attention of you, or to somehow work together or collaborate, or to get a job in Web3, something like that? I didn't know if there's anything you guys were looking for, or if you guys weren't, what would you look for, like, hypothetically?
Yeah, I mean, we currently don't have any paid opportunities, because we have we have the community managers, we have head moderators. But I think what's kind of going on right now in the Dippies community is that we're shaping we were a 4-month-old project. So 4 months in NFT terms is obviously, as we all know, is a lot longer than usual.
Yeah.
But so I wouldn't say we're a new project at this point. I think we're more of like a, we've been here for a little while. So right now we're like, okay, we've done our mints, and now we're kind of looking for the journey ahead. And I think this is a great opportunity for people who actually want to get involved. This is a great time to come into the Dippies, because decisions are being made that will reflect the next stage for the Dippies project. So now is a great time to come in and be part of the conversation, because we're literally having the conversation with the community. Like on Friday, we had a conversation with community about like Roadmap 3.0. Like we're making it together. Like, what do we want to do together? And it's very easy to get in touch with the founders. That's what's so cool about NFTs, is that you're always very close to the top person of the project. Like,
cool stuff.
For any like traditional Web2 business, you don't really get to talk to them, because there's just so much things you have to go through to get there. But this is like very involved. which I really like, because
Yeah.
I don't like the whole like corporate structure. It's kind of just like nice this way. And now is a great time to get involved, is all I'm gonna say.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. And then this was another question. So in regards to digital hippies, I don't know if you can talk about it or if you even care to, or if there's anything on this topic of psychedelics or anything in that realm.
Do you have a psychedelic story that you wanted to share?
I've got too many stories to share about psychedelics. Honestly, I didn't know. I guess I didn't know what role, if any, that psychedelics specifically had to play with. I know hippies just in general have a tie to psychedelics. Like people think of like I don't know what years, like 60s or 70s or something like that, when everyone was doing LSD and stuff like that. And I've definitely got stories with LSD. I feel like I've tried every hard drug that's like in that realm. Like I remember I did DMT in college, dude. That shit was fucking.
God damn.
That shit was fucking just there's not even a word to describe what that was. Like everything if you guys know what dimethyltryptamine is, the DMT, if you've heard the stories, I can confirm it was that crazy. It was absolutely that crazy, times 1,000. It was unbelievable. But I didn't know if you wanted to talk about psychedelics or not, because you're the project founder.
I mean, I probably
Or if
not.
you even tried them. Yeah. I can share. So with LSD, like for me, like one of the reasons that I think the hippie community comes together because the psychedelics is, in my opinion at least, and this is not financial or mental health advice or drug advice at all. So please don't take drugs. Please don't take LSD or DMT because of these stories. But like with the idea behind the psychedelics is a lot of people who try them and have a good experience with it or have a growing experience with it is they feel like they go through an entire trip, which is why they call it a trip. You take this thing and a few hours later you're like, oh my God, so much shit happened. You reflect on your day. You're like, wow, we didn't actually do anything different. It just felt like an entire journey that we went through. Like you'll be in there for your room for a couple hours. You'll walk around down the street for a little bit. You'll go see a sunset and you come back and you're like, oh my God, like I just had a whole day. And at the end, you realize like how much you were present. It's kind of hard to explain, but that's one way that all the hippies kind of come together. I don't know. I just thought it was really powerful. I was just going to ask that because some people can talk about psychedelics, but psychedelics, it's definitely a touchy subject because it's illegal in literally like most parts of the world.
Yeah. We opened the channel up for that, and there was a lot of interest.
Really?
In that channel. On our Discord, a lot of people were putting a lot of interesting stories about their different journeys and stuff like that. And I mean, we try to. We know as a project, it's probably not best to lean too much into, because we wanted to keep it as like, that's something like that Doodles did, was that they kept it very like open. They kind of kept it like, really, we found a niche for sure in Dippies, but we wanted to also make it not too niche that people would be like, if I don't do psychedelics, I shouldn't be part of Dippies. So we wanted to make sure like not to promote that too much. We wanted to be like digital hippies. It's as niche as it should be, but we obviously, there are verticals in it that people could get interested in. We did like a 420 merch drop, actually. So that was really fun. This is like one of the hoodies.
That's so clean.
This is like it's puff print.
Wow.
So
let's go.
Yeah, so this is like one of our merch. And this is also puff print. So that was a really fun. Our first merch drop was really, really interesting. So
hell yeah, dude.
Like that.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah, that's fucking awesome. That's actually a good point. I didn't even think about that with not wanting to kind of like isolate the crowd and to focus too much on something. Like even Psychedelic Anonymous thinks about that. Like they're literally called Psychedelic Anonymous, and they also focus on a whole lot of other factors, especially like mental health and stuff. Not so much like taking drugs and taking hard drugs and getting high and stuff like that. Like it's not really what it's about. So they've done an excellent job. Are there any like what projects would you be super amped to collaborate with? I assume Doodles is probably up there.
Doodles for sure is a huge project that I've always looked up to for a long time. I mean, I'm also a fan of other projects. I really think Cool Cats is cool.
Same.
Obviously. And I like that. I really love projects that don't do what's the usual. Like the Cool Pets was really interesting, even though people might have their opinions about how it went. But I really think it was daring and trying something new, which I really like. That's why we did the vans, because it was new, and having the whole idea of the garage and having the dynamic metadata with being able to put drivers of Dippies and other projects as well. The whole thing was an experiment. We never saw it before. But we were like, let's do that, because all good projects try to do something new. So any project that tries to do new things, I'm a big fan of. Like, I mean, obviously, I'm a fan of like Bored Apes, Bored Ape Yacht Club, and I love, you know, I love that they're very, they don't like they're very holding, they're holding some to like a high caliber. They're not releasing a lot of things,
Yeah.
and they're not feeling the pressure that they have. Like a lot of projects that have the pressure of them would be like crumbling by now. But
Sure.
I'm so impressed by how they've been able to manage all the success in such a short amount of time, and not like mess up. So
Yeah.
you know, some people might say they did mess up with their last drop, but I think they have an insane team, and I think that's sort of like the Apple of NFTs. Like they're sort of like the top dog right now, and when they do well, we all do well. So
Yeah. You're like, please, guys, do something to save us, please.
yeah,
That's
so
fucking
like,
hilarious.
and the thing about NFT space is that really no one knows. I don't know how you feel about this, but like no one really knows. Everyone's looking at Bored Ape Club as the way, like as how a project should be,
Sure.
but they're only like a year old, like a year and a half old.
Yeah.
They're not that
Nobody
old. Like,
knows.
so nobody knows. Like when MySpace came out, everyone was like, "Okay, that's how social media should be."
Yep.
But that's not how it ended up being, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. We don't know how NFTs are going to be in a year from now. It might not.
Yeah.
You know, the metas are changing so quickly. It was utility, then it's CCO.
Yeah.
Then
Well,
it's
and
like,
plus, like the algorithms, like even like social media, like, oh, Facebook's the play. It's like, well, TikTok's For You page is actually the play. Now Facebook has altered their entire system to basically copy and do everything TikTok is doing. And same with like Instagram, because they're owned by Facebook. But yeah, shit changes. You're right. Absolutely. That's a good point. Yeah. Fuck yeah. That's actually a really good point. I didn't really think about it like that. Also, I know we're gonna bring this podcast to a close in a second here, but I want to do like a speed round, quick fire, rapid fire question. Ready? Favorite color?
Royal blue.
Favorite sport, if you have one?
Soccer, football.
Fuck, let's fucking go. Favorite team?
Let's go. Manchester United.
Oh fuck! All right, I thought we were gonna make it, and my favorite team is Chelsea. It's been since how long you watch, by the way?
Huh?
How long you been watching soccer?
Oh, since I was a kid. Like that's my sport. Like that's my thing. That's my blood. Like
Hell yeah,
it's my thing.
Respect. What position were you, or what position do you like to play or watch?
I usually play like left wing, a left mid, or left back. Anything on the wing, I could play. Yeah.
You left-footed, or did you do to like cut inside?
Left-footed.
Damn, bro, that's lit. I for some reason I always liked. I think it's just because I'm not left-footed, but I always liked the way left-footed players look, because it's a very unique way of playing. When you're fully left-footed, they play very different than literally everyone else because there's not as many of them out there. But I always liked the way that they play, and like I loved watching Gareth Bale play. There's just some about, I don't know what it was, just like him, like Ben Chilwell. I remember watching people who were on the left back, and I actually forced myself to. Me and my dad actually both, but I really wanted to learn my left foot, and that was actually the reason I played college soccer. The college coach that signed me said the reason we're signing you is because your left foot is about 10 times better than anyone else.
For college soccer? What the fuck?
Yeah, didn't I say I was playing college soccer? I only played for a year because I blew out both my ACLs. But I played ball, and I remember my last day at that college because I was transferring. Yeah. I had started the last game, and I remember being like, "Wow, I'm really about to walk away from college sports." Because the thing is with college sports, it's not that fun when you're there because it's just a lot of work. But I remember being like, "Damn, I literally started a college game and I'm walking away." So it was a sad moment, but you know, I grew and like other things happened. But yeah, we love soccer. Fucking love that sport. But anyways, okay. Favorite food or restaurant?
I would say sushi.
Sushi. Fuck yes. Let's go. You know what? All right. Beach or mountains? That'll be the last one. What? Beach or mountains? Beach or mountains? Beach. Right on. All right, guys. Well, listen. One, thank you, but also, guys, if you haven't already, smash the like button. Thank you so much for being here, especially if you made it to the very end. If you've been here since the beginning, subscribe to the channel. I have his stuff and Dippies stuff in the description below if you want to check him out. Make sure you're following us on Twitter and stuff like that. Yeah, make sure you like the video. Yeah, dude. Well, one, Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam. Thank you for coming on, dude.
Oh.
Thank you for coming on, dude. It was a great time chatting. Maybe we'll bring you back on for another episode coming up, or we'll get Taylor on. But it's been a fucking awesome time hanging with you, man.
Thank you, Kate. This was awesome. And yeah, looking forward to speaking to you again.
Hell yeah, man. Guys, if you're in the chat, I want to see code word SAL spammed in the chat. It's code word SAL. If you made it to the end and you are an OG, if this is not your first episode of this, I want to see OG spam in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time, continue on your Joyage, continue to learn, and be great for your life watching this video. Bye.